On all the Middle Fork and main stem of the Salmon River commercial raft trips that I have been on, one of the activities, usually on the last night of the trip, is the costume activity where everyone dresses up mostly in women's clothes. The guides pull out a pile of old clothes and everyone gets dressed in funny costumes. They may even give a meaningless award for the best dressed. The underlying question addressed in this video is whether this activity is consistent with a wilderness experience. In an attempt to simplify the programming process, this author developed the 5-question activity model. The first question asks whether the activity you are conducting is compatible with the overall experience. As trip leader or as the rafting company, you are a recreational engineer, engineering an overall experience. In this case, you are engineering a wilderness experience influenced by federal legislation. This video examines the first question to determine if the dress-up activity should be discontinued since it is incompatible with a wilderness experience. Both the Middle Fork and the main stem of the Salmon are wild rivers located in wilderness areas. The Wilderness Act of 1964 sets the management tone for the experience in these areas. Wilderness generally appears to have been affected primarily by the forces of nature, with the imprint of man's work substantially unnoticed. And it has outstanding opportunities for solitude and primitive and unconfined type of recreation. A key term in the definition section of the Wilderness Act is untrammeled. Trambling a horse's gait is to civilize the horse by making it walk unnaturally. Untrammeled is to be natural or like a team of wild horses. Should the experience engineered reflect this experience? The Wild River classification in the 1968 Wild and Scenic River Act echoes the wilderness theme. The Middle Fork of the Salmon was included in the initial legislation. In 1980, the main stem of the Salmon was formally included in both the wilderness and the Wild and Scenic River systems. Question 1. The first question is the obvious question. Is the costume activity compatible with a wilderness experience? Should it be continued or discontinued? Question 2. An alternative to discontinuing the activity is to modify the activity. Can this activity be modified to conform with a wilderness experience? How would you do it? Question 3. Normally, if the activity is incompatible and discontinued, the other 4 questions need not be answered. However, consider the safety question from a politically correct perspective. With a change in attitudes and with social media, can an activity like this have negative impact on its participants, and should this activity be discontinued simply for this reason? Question 4. List 3 or 4 evening activities and explain how they are consistent with a wilderness experience. Just because you've always done an activity is not a reason to continue doing it. Times change, as do attitudes. More importantly, ask the question, does the activity complement the overall experience you are trying to create? In part, wilderness is defined by legislation. Within that framework, you are still a recreational engineer, engineering an experience for your participants.